Hello all. Today we are looking at Manipur's journey in terms of its performance in reducing child malnutrition across the two rounds of the NFHS, NFHS 4 and NFHS 5. The overall story in respect of Manipur is that it hasn't done well in reducing the levels of malnutrition except in stunting. But one must acknowledge that Manipur's performance remains far above the national average. But then that's not what we are looking at right now. We are looking at how has Manipur fared vis-a-vis itself between NFHS 4 and NFHS 5. The other worry is there is a increase in the levels of child mortality across the two rounds. Even though it is a marginal increase, it's an area of concern. The third part is the anemia side. The situation has shown deterioration, but as we have said in other episodes also, the NFHS data on anemia, NFHS 5 data, there are issues of plausibility and it needs to be seen more carefully. Even though Manipur is a small state, like other states, there is a variation in the performance across different districts. So it is important to map this journey to stress the need for a more decentralized planning. And we will come to it when we look at a couple of districts which are very close to the goalpost of matching the WHO standards. In doing our analysis, we have used the two websites, nfhs4.indiagis.org and nfhs5.indiagis.org. It gives you facility to map various other parameters, not just the outcome parameters. So the readers can go to it and do their own analysis and draw their own conclusion. Overall, if we see in the slide that you are noticing, Manipur's performance remains much better than the all India average. It has shown a reduction in stunting. The graph shows that on the left hand side. Wasting has gone up. Severe wasting has gone up. Both these are matters of worry. And as we have observed, there has been a marginal increase in the levels of child mortality, which we will come to. And underweight, more or less, that has remained the same or slightly worse. When we unpack it, how does the situation look like? We see a mixed picture. But on the eastern districts of Ukhrul and Chandel, we see a very clear deterioration. If we take a look at the data range, 8.4% to 17.9%, that's the range in NFHS 4. It has marginally gone up, only marginally. We are using the same cutoff levels as for NFHS 4 and NFHS 5 because as we often emphasize, the comparison is of Manipur with Manipur itself. What happens to stunting? In stunting, we see a sharp improvement, except Indel and Thobal. But interestingly, when we look at the data range, 21% children being stunted and 37% children being stunted, the data range has gone to 15.5 and 33.9. Now this is encouraging. So you see the reflection in the diagram and the same cutoffs have been used. So this is one area where Manipur's performance is good. We go to wasting. Now here we see a sharp deterioration. The data range has worsened at both the ends very significantly. Now this increase in wasting should be a matter of worry. We see same pattern when it comes to severe wasting. In severe wasting again you notice that the data range has worsened significantly, 1.3 to 2.1. This is not a small increase, and 3.9 to 5.4. That's also a matter of concern. Because this has implications on the levels of child mortality as well. We see the neonatal mortality has gone up marginally. The infant mortality has gone up from 22 to 25. Now at lower levels of IMR, this gap of 3 also is significant. And under 5 mortality has jumped from 26 to 30. Now all this should be a cause of worry for the state. When it comes to anemia, if you look at children in the 6 to 59-month age group, we not only see the sharp deterioration, the entire data range of NFHS 5, that was 34.6% anemic children at the lower end and 50% at the upper end, has crossed the entire data range of NFHS 5, NFHS 4. There it was 17.5 to 29.3. Here it starts from 34.6. This raises issues in terms of plausibility. We have deliberately used two maps of NFHS 5. The top map, where the state entirely goes into the red band, is one if you use NFHS 4 cutoffs. But if you look at a relative picture, what's happening in NFHS 5, then you have to adjust the cutoffs. You can look at this at your leisure. Women in 15 to 19 years, again sharp worsening in level of anemia, except of course in these two districts. Okay, but which you see on your right hand side, I think one is Vishnupur and Vishnupur district as well as Ukkur district. But data needs careful scrutiny. Pregnant women in the 15 to 49 age group, we see a kind of a mixed picture. Not much conclusion can be drawn. Here the data range has gone up very marginally at the lower end, from 15.2 to 18.3, but it has gone up from 35 to 52 practically. Now that is something which is a matter of worry. West Imphal and Vishnupur, these are the two districts which seem to have done well in most parameters. So we went ahead and looked at the distribution curve. And as we have said in other episodes also, this green bell curve is the WHO reference curve. It is based on the standard population that WHO looked at. And this is what one should aim at. If you look at Imphal West, it is fairly close to the WHO reference curve. In fact, if you look at the middle graph, which is wasting, it almost coincides with the green curve, except for the small area which is shown in red and yellow, which gives you approximately the burden of malnutrition or undernutrition, which needs to be removed. If we do that, probably Imphal could say that we are matching WHO reference curve as far as wasting is concerned. I think even underweight is doable. As we have usually discussed, stunting is a longer haul, so one would not get into that. Is Imphal the only district in Manipur which has done so? No. Look at Vishnupur. Similar story. Wasting, they can probably match the WHO reference with some effort, maybe within a year or so. So probably NFHS 6, they might give this surprise. Underweight in Vishnupur is a little more problematic than in West Imphal, and stunting, as we said, is it. So, what is the overall story? Manipur hasn't done well in reducing the levels of child malnutrition, except of course stunting, and stunting is important. But we must recognize that Manipur's performance remains far above the national average. That's one. Manipur has to worry about the increase in child mortality levels. Why is it so? And that's something where probably more attention is required, because this has happened in all the three segments: neonatal mortality, infant mortality, under 5 mortality. Anemia front, we are putting the caveat that there could be a plausibility issue, but the anemia front among children and women, the levels show deterioration. Nevertheless, Imphal West and Vishnupur are fairly close to the goalpost of matching WHO reference curve. Now, viewers may kindly note that we have shifted to this terminology. We are not saying goalpost of Kuposhan Mukt. It's more prudent. First, we match the WHO reference curve. So, can Imphal West and Vishnupur do it and set an example for others? Time will tell, or maybe NFHS 6th round data will tell. We leave the readers with this thought and we move to our analysis of other states, particularly other states among the seven sisters. Thank you very much.